Built in grief, shaped by devotion, and admired for generations. The Taj Mahal is more than a postcard. It's a marble tomb surrounded by gardens, born from a promise made in mourning. Behind its symmetry lies a story of empire, architecture, and memory, stretching across centuries. This video unpacks how the monument came to be, the techniques behind its construction, the myths that surround it, and why UNESCO recognized it as a site of exceptional universal value. From royal loss to global admiration, this is the journey of one of the world's most remarkable creations. The Taj Mahal rises from the city of Agra, in the Indian state of Uttar Pradesh, just over 200 kilometers south of Delhi. Most visitors arrive through Delhi, taking high-speed trains like the Gatiman or Shatabdi Express, or driving the 4-hour route by car or bus. From Agra Cant station, the Taj is just a short ride away, by taxi, rickshaw, or tuk-tuk. It sits on the southern bank of the Yamuna River. In the 17th century, Agra was the capital of the Mughal Empire and one of the most sophisticated courts in the world. The river mattered. It wasn't only symbolic, echoing the Quranic image of paradise with flowing water and lush gardens. It was also practical. Barges could bring in marble and gemstones directly to the site. From an imperial perspective, it was a location that combined devotion, visibility, and power. In the early 1600s, the Mughal Empire was at its height. Stretching across much of the Indian subcontinent, it was one of the wealthiest and most powerful realms on earth. Shah Jahan inherited more than just a throne. He inherited a dynasty built on conquest and splendor. Son of Emperor Jahangir and grandson of Akbar the Great, he came from a line of rulers who expanded the Mughal Empire through war, diplomacy, and architecture. But for Shah Jahan, it wasn't enough to continue their legacy. He wanted to outshine it. Known for commissioning mosques, forts, and palaces, he ruled from Agra with a clear ambition: to leave behind monuments that would eclipse those of his predecessors. In 1631, his wife Mumtaz Mahal died during childbirth, delivering their 14th child, Gauhar Ara Begum. They had been inseparable. She traveled with him, advised him, and was said to be his closest confidant. Her sudden death, in the middle of a military campaign against a rebellion in the Deccan, devastated the emperor. According to court historians, Shah Jahan withdrew from public life, wore only white for months, and forbade music in the palace. The empire stood still, at least on the surface. Day-to-day affairs were managed by his advisors and his eldest son, Dara Shikoh, who gradually took on more responsibilities during the emperor's mourning. That early favoritism would later fuel a bitter succession war among his sons. What followed wasn't just mourning. It was a decision to turn grief into permanence, a promise to build something the world would never forget. A monument was ordered, one that would rival anything the empire had ever seen. Not just a tomb, but a symbol. Eternal love, divine beauty, imperial strength, all carved in stone. Construction began in 1632, and no expense was spared. Shah Jahan summoned artisans from across the empire and beyond, calligraphers from Persia, inlay craftsmen from Bukhara, dome specialists from the Ottoman world. Marble came from Makrana in Rajasthan. Precious stones arrived from as far as Tibet, Sri Lanka, and the Indian Ocean. More than 20,000 workers were mobilized. Scaffolds rose on the banks of the Yamuna River, while elephants hauled materials through Agra's dusty roads. Engineers designed a raised platform to protect the building from floods, and the entire complex was planned around a central axis, obsessed with symmetry, geometry, and balance. The main mausoleum was completed by 1648, but the rest of the complex, the gateway, gardens, mosque, and guest pavilion, took several more years. Only by 1653 was the full vision realized. The monument was finally complete, but the man who built it wouldn't rule much longer. In 1657, when the emperor fell seriously ill, his 4 surviving sons began a brutal power struggle. Each wanted the throne, but it was Aurangzeb, the 3rd son, who moved first. He defeated his elder brother Dara Shikoh in battle, eliminated the others, and in 1658 declared himself emperor. Shah Jahan was declared unfit to rule and imprisoned in his own palace, the Agra fort. From a marble balcony, he could still see the dome of the Taj in the distance, gleaming white across the river. He spent his final years confined, surrounded by silence and memory. No throne, no court, no wife. Only the view of the tomb he had raised in her name. Shah Jahan died in 1666. His body was quietly transported across the Yamuna and buried beside Mumtaz Mahal, his tomb slightly off-center in a structure otherwise defined by perfect symmetry. After Shah Jahan's death, the empire began to shift. Aurangzeb moved the capital to Delhi, and Agra slowly faded from the center of power. The Taj Mahal remained standing, but no longer as a symbol of imperial pride. It became quiet, unused, a masterpiece without a court. Over the centuries, neglect gave way to decay. Stones loosened, gardens overgrew, and local rulers removed materials to reuse elsewhere. And under British colonial rule, the monument became both curiosity and quarry. Some colonial officials suggested dismantling it entirely and auctioning the marble in London. Others saw value in its romantic decay and began efforts to preserve it, though not always with care or accuracy. What had begun as a private expression of grief was now a public spectacle. Travelers, painters, and photographers from Europe helped spread its image across the globe. By the 19th century, the Taj Mahal was no longer just an imperial tomb. It had become an international symbol of love, of loss, and of a past no longer fully understood. By the 20th century, the Taj Mahal had already outlived the empire that built it. What began as a private mausoleum had become a national symbol, printed on currency, referenced in poetry, and recognized around the world. But its meaning had shifted. Visitors came by the thousands, then by the millions. Some moved by its beauty, others chasing the myth of eternal love. At first glance, it's the whiteness that draws the eye. The entire mausoleum seems to glow, especially at sunrise, when the marble reflects pink, gold, or silver depending on the light. But this isn't just aesthetic. Every material was chosen with purpose. The base is Makrana marble, a dense stone quarried from Rajasthan. It doesn't yellow with age, and it's durable enough to hold detail without crumbling. Into that surface, artisans embedded semi-precious stones. Jade from China, turquoise from Tibet, lapis lazuli from Afghanistan. The technique is called pietra dura, cutting and inlaying floral patterns so precise they look painted. Arabic inscriptions from the Quran frame the entrances, carved in black marble. From a distance, the calligraphy appears perfectly uniform. But each letter varies in size, larger at the top, smaller at eye level, to create an illusion of consistency. Nothing was accidental. From a distance, the Taj Mahal appears perfectly symmetrical, silent, still, and balanced. But up close, the complexity reveals itself. The central dome rises nearly 35 meters above the roofline, shaped like a drop of water about to fall. It's not a single shell, but a double dome, an architectural solution that makes the interior feel intimate while keeping the exterior scale monumental. Flanking the main dome are 4 smaller ones, echoing its curves without overpowering them. At each corner of the raised platform stands a minaret, designed with one subtle but brilliant feature. Each tower leans slightly outward. It's barely visible to the eye. If one were to collapse, due to earthquake or age, it would fall away from the tomb, not into it. Inside, the layout is octagonal, with a delicate marble screen, a jali surrounding 2 cenotaphs, one for Mumtaz, one for Shah Jahan. But the real graves lie in a sealed crypt below. Visitors often miss this. The symmetry holds throughout the building, except for one detail. Mumtaz's cenotaph sits at the center. Shah Jahan's is offset, added later, without disrupting her position. The Taj Mahal isn't just a building, it's a composition, and the gardens are part of it. Laid out in the Charbagh style, the grounds follow a Persian model of paradise. 4 equal quadrants divided by 2 main water channels, forming a cross. At the center of this axis, a reflecting pool mirrors the marble dome, doubling its presence and anchoring the entire layout in symmetry. But unlike traditional Charbagh gardens, where the tomb stands at the very center, here the mausoleum sits at the northern end, facing the river. This shift transforms the garden from a surrounding element into a foreground stage, guiding the visitor's gaze toward the structure. Architecturally, it creates depth and a dramatic sense of approach. The long path, the layered gates, the rising platform. Each step is designed to reveal the building slowly, always centered, always distant, until finally reached. To the west of the mausoleum stands a functional mosque built in red sandstone. Its main prayer hall faces Mecca, with a mihrab carved into the wall. The structure complements the white marble of the tomb, not by matching it, but by contrasting. Color against purity, texture against polish. It's both a spiritual space and an architectural anchor. On the east side, a nearly identical building mirrors the mosque. But this one has no religious function. It's known as the Jawab, the answer. Its sole purpose is visual symmetry. Together, the 2 flanking structures stabilize the design, reinforcing the impression of harmony from all angles. At the southern entrance stands the main gateway, or Darwaza-e-Rawza. Built with intricate inlay work and towering proportions, it acts as a ceremonial threshold. Visitors pass through its arch and see the Taj Mahal framed perfectly at the end of the garden axis. The gateway sets the tone before a single step is taken inside. Every part of the Taj Mahal obeys one rule: balance. It was made to impress not just from one spot, but from every perspective. And while the story behind it may invite emotion, the structure itself is pure calculation. In 1983, the Taj Mahal was added to the UNESCO World Heritage List. It met criterion number 1 for being a masterpiece of human creative genius, and criterion number 2 for demonstrating a significant interchange of values in architecture, technology, and decorative arts. It also fulfilled criterion number 3 as a unique testimony to a cultural tradition, in this case, the height of Mughal architecture in the 17th century. UNESCO recognized not only the monument's design and symbolism, but also the technical precision behind its construction. The balance between architecture, garden planning, calligraphy, and craftsmanship was considered unmatched in Islamic art. But recognition didn't solve everything. Over the years, the Taj Mahal has faced threats from pollution, mass tourism, and river erosion. The white marble darkens due to airborne particles and acid rain. In response, India created the Taj Trapezium Zone in 1996. a protected area around Agra that limits industrial activity. Conservation includes regular cleaning, strict visitor controls, and structural monitoring. Even the number of daily tickets is capped during peak seasons. The challenge today is balance, protecting the monument while still allowing millions to experience it. A building made to last forever now depends on what happens around it. The Taj Mahal is surrounded by stories, some true, others not so much. The legend of the Black Taj Mahal is one of the most persistent myths surrounding the Taj Mahal. According to European traveler Jean-Baptiste Tavernier, Shah Jahan planned an identical mausoleum in black marble across the Yamuna River. It was to be connected to the White Taj by a grand bridge, his own tomb in contrast to Mumtaz Mahal's. Modern historians and archaeologists, however, find no contemporary evidence to support this story. In the 1990s, excavations in the gardens across the river, called Mehtab Bagh, the Moonlight Garden, revealed remains of a large octagonal pool and surrounding structures. What likely fueled the myth was a dark reflection of the White Taj seen in the water at this point, especially at night, creating the illusion of a black twin. Officially, the Taj Mahal welcomes over 6 million visitors per year. The ticket sales generated approximately $36 million. It's one of the most visited sites in India, drawing travelers from around the world despite daily ticket limits and access restrictions. In 2007, after a global vote involving more than 100 million people, the Taj Mahal was named one of the new 7 wonders of the world, securing its place not just in history, but in popular imagination. And while much has been written, measured, and photographed, the experience of standing in front of it still escapes definition. It's not just what's seen, but what's felt. It began with grief, became an act of power, and turned into one of the most admired monuments on the planet. The Taj Mahal isn't just a tomb. It's a vision made solid. Every angle, every stone, every shadow was designed to leave an impression. And centuries later, it still does. Have you ever stood in front of the Taj? Or is it still on your list? What would you want to see first? The reflection pool, the marble dome, the carvings inside? Share your thoughts in the comments. Whether you've been there or are just curious, this is a place that leaves no one indifferent. And if you enjoyed this journey, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. There's a lot more to explore.